Don't get overwhelmed by this. I will explain everything. Welcome to philosophy class. We will work everything out here. Now, before I start with owning yourself, what does owning yourself mean? Before I answer all this stuff, I'll just clarify from last lecture that when we speak of core, when you are in reality, and this was vision, reality, and as you move, towards your vision, you will, once you see some results, it's no longer just a vision, the vision continues onwards. The vision, you clarify your vision because you have to start before you can even understand what your body will look like potentially, because you don't have any muscles and you don't understand what it will look like potentially. Now this metaphor, it works perfectly for work as well, for everything, but for work as well, like you have to start your project before you understand your vision, your ultimate, long-term vision. You can't truly understand your ultimate long-term vision and goal in your work until, you start and see some results. That's when you understand yourself and your business and so forth. So, which is connected to today's lecture. So I just wanted to clarify that stuff. Perhaps I'll do that in another video as well. So, all right. So, what does owning yourself mean? Owning yourself is a meta principle. It is a principle. The meta principle means that it is a principle that's not as direct as, let's say, last lecture on higher desire is much more direct because it is basically your vision in your mind. But owning yourself is a principle that works behind the scenes, that is within everything. Now, you have to realize that all these principles are in some sense behind the scenes and they are in reality. I'm just giving them a name so that we can understand what we're saying, so that we can understand stuff. And we need language because that's how we evolved. So this is just, we name stuff to understand things. That's how science started and philosophy and so forth. So we have to do that. So, but the thing is that this principle is the same like the principle of change. This principle is always working in the background, all right? Always, always, always. All right, so what does this mean? Okay, so my definitions here, it will always be my definition, so that's redundant. So lifelong satisfaction requires owning yourself. Oh, why? Owning yourself in all areas of life. And there are 4 areas of life, and they are here. These are the 4 areas of life: health, wealth, relations, spirituality. You have to have, because if you want to have a lifelong satisfaction in life, like if you want to have lifelong satisfaction, you have to love every area. So you see, joy in the process, the love is also behind all of this. So reality is multi-layered. Your reality has to be multiple layers like this, It has to be multiple layers to be, satisfying. And, your satisfaction just increases the more layers you realize that you're creating in life. Which is what my philosophy explains. So you have all these layers, all these principles and so forth. So that is what my philosophy does, but when you implement this stuff, these layers become reality, It's not just an idea. Your life will feel multi-layered because you love each and every process within health, within wealth, within relationships, and within relations, as I call it, and within spirituality. All right? There are deep, deep layers, but imagine all these 4 having deep layers, all of them having deep layers. So this is, in some sense, the same awareness thing that happens when you go within yourself, within your core, but instead of, you know, just going inwards, my philosophy is going from the core outwards, all right? That's the difference. Most people see the world from their core, and then they, you know, they project themselves well onto the world, the external, and then they return that external into themselves and, you know, compare themselves. That's not how my philosophy works at all right? My philosophy doesn't work like this. It goes from the core. You develop your core. That's why you don't care about the external stuff. And then you give to the external. You give to the external. You don't even care about receiving anything. It doesn't mean that you're Jesus and you just love everyone and everything. No. You give to people you want to give to. You're selective because you understand what you want in life. That's why you are selective. That's why the greats have a direction. You see? You have a direction here. But here, you only have like a temporary direction, and then you move it inwards to yourself again. So you're just moving in circles again, like I mentioned yesterday. So that's just a quick, you know, explanation about that stuff. But all of it is connected. Well, everything is connected to everything. You will realize this as soon as you understand what I'm saying and apply everything I say. All right, so it is, you have to own yourself in all areas of life. So that means in health, this will mean your enjoyable diet, sleep, exercise, meditation. All right? And there is a difference between meditation and spirituality. I will get here soon, but so enjoyable. So you have to have love within this. You have to love each process within diet, each process within sleep. Well, sleep is, you know, it should really be the last one, because once you fix diet, meditation, and exercise, your sleep will get much better. All right, but you gotta love, you know, finding your meditation. You gotta love, you're trying vipassana, you're trying visualization, and then you find Dzogchen or something else, and you start loving it way more. It works for you, and you find your diet. You try paleo, you try keto, you try carnivore, you try veganism, you try everything, and none of them work because you find your own stuff, you know. Some days you are paleo-esque, and then on the weekends you eat some rice or something. That is perhaps your way of eating. I've done something similar. It wasn't my way because I got lethargic, but some people might not get lethargic. So that's why you gotta find the process, but you gotta enjoy finding that, you know, diet. So you understand what I'm saying when I say that reality is very deep and it has many layers. You see, that is just diet. Imagine how many layers diet have or has. Imagine then how many layers sleep has, you know, blocking artificial light, you know, you can do all sorts of things. You can sleep better if you know, take a shower before you sleep, open your window before you sleep, lowering the temperature in the room. That is actually one of the most important things. There are so many things you can do here, but you gotta find your enjoyable bed as well. For example, like I like harder beds, and you gotta change that. You gotta change that. And then together with diet, that will work so well. And then, you know, obviously exercise. We gotta exercise. Everyone works with something that's, you know, a lot of people works with something just with people and intellectual and stuff. So it's not that heavy anymore, you know. Work is not that heavy anymore for the common man. Now, I'm not just speaking to the common man here, but whoever it is, because I want to find my golden seed, so it can be anyone actually. So, oh, and you can join my Facebook group, the Golden Seeds, the Garden of Golden Seeds. You will understand what I'm saying once you apply all this. Now, the garden obviously is an inspiration from Epicurus. So if you like philosophy, you will like the way I speak. All right, but but we borrow, you know, we're influenced by people, by the greats. I'm influenced by the greats. We don't just copy them, you know, we get better, all right? We do stuff that works, all right? And then you find your meditation as well. So you've got many layers here. This is the first foundation. So basically health is the first foundation. That is what I always talk about. That is the ultimate core. That is the ultimate core, you know, the guy yesterday, ultimate core, and go to brain. Well, now it looks terrible here, but a little bit of muscles here. No, that looks just terrible. Doesn't matter, it just looks like a human, kind of. Your core goes to your brain, out of your mouth, work, all right? So, you put food in, bacteria up in the brain, dopamines and stuff, your mind, how clear it is and so forth. You speak and you have your ideas, your work, all right? Great stuff in, great stuff out. Terrible stuff in, terrible stuff out. The same actually with reading. You gotta read good stuff in. Now obviously it doesn't go that way, but you read stuff, good stuff in, you think, and then work out from your mouth, let's say. We'll use the mouth as a metaphor for work and, you know, putting your ideas out. Here's ideas, that is within spirituality actually. All right, well, it is within spirituality. There is some in health as well. All of these stem from health, so. You know, so all of them are connected. You know. Everything is connected in my philosophy. Everything is connected. You don't have to worry about, is this connected to this or this is connected to that. Everything is connected to everything because your life, this is your life. Of course, everything is connected to everything. All right, so realize that there are so many layers in our reality. So that's why when people speak of, my life is so boring, I have nothing to do, it is just so mediocre, I mean, you're not working on yourself. There is so much you can do. There is so much you can do. And I have so many ideas, for example. I can give you free ideas because there are so many ideas I have. I don't need everything. I can't even create everything. I mean, I could do this all my life and still not, create all the ideas I want to create. So that's why, you got to take action, just create and just move on. All right, so, and you got to try stuff out because you can't, like I said yesterday, you can't realize how you're supposed to own yourself unless you start it, all right? So action is everything. Motion is everything. You got to move forward, motion. That is the most important thing, actually. That is the principle of change is the most important. Change and the will, of course, the will to change. Partly, my purpose here is to inspire you. I want to ignite the inner fire in you, your drive to change, all right? That is one of the purposes. That's why I'm speaking the way I speak. But I also want you to truly, continue with this. Not just, be inspired in the beginning and then you just drop it. No, this is a lifelong project. This is your life, all right? This is your life. And it is lifelong, see? Lifelong satisfaction. Everything, all the clues are in the language. All the clues are always in the language. When people say, you got to change your habits, listen to them. Change your habits. What does that mean in a deeper level? It means that you have to change yourself, all right? Your whole self, actually. It's not just the brain, everything, your whole body. You got to change your whole body, everything, all your behaviors. That means changing everything, all right? So before you can even understand owning yourself, that is, a prerequisite. So you gotta own yourself in everything because otherwise you will never reach satisfaction. And this is because people hate when other people tell them what to do. All right, most people today, and we have the freedom, to think and reflect, especially in the West. So most of us have this, open freedom, this basically a gift from the past that have, worked for this, all the wars and, everything. Now all of this can go away. So don't think that this is forever, all right? So take action now and do everything now. I don't want to stress you, although I don't want to stress you because, it's not going away anytime soon. So of course you don't have to stress. But I'm just saying, the sooner you take action, the better. And that's it. I mean, but of course you should ruminate a little bit as well, It is needed to go within yourself. Going within yourself, like inner wisdom as I call it, is important. So, and actually I believe you actually have to, in some sense, you almost have to do that to understand where I'm coming from here. Instead of going, inwards in the core, you go outwards now from the core instead. That is basically, I realized the core when I was within myself. Now I will speak about that a different day as well. So, but I'm gonna, repeat myself a lot. So you're not gonna miss anything. I will basically summarize my philosophy each and every time, every lecture, just in a different manner, in a different way. All right. So what do we got here? We got health. All right. Yeah. So basically, meditation is a relaxation method. Technically, it's a relaxation method. Meditation can be, yoga. It doesn't have to be meditation. It can be something else you like, all right? The same way exercise doesn't have to be calisthenics that I love. It can be, riding a bike. All right, so technically I should call this relaxation method. I usually do that, but meditation is a shorter word. So I like the word meditation. Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. You should read that, but you shouldn't agree with everything there, all right? You gotta distance yourself from every hero, every, ideal. Don't just read that stuff and just, go, oh yeah, it's so profound what he's saying. It's so profound. Stop with that. Start thinking, how do I apply this into my life? Does this make sense, or it doesn't make any sense at all? So that's basically what I've done. I've just cut out everything else that doesn't work, and I only have the stuff that works. All right, it worked for me. It will always work. Owning yourself. So owning yourself in wealth is super important. So this is where, owning yourself is important in everything. You gotta find your stuff here in health. No one else can tell you, do this meditation. If it doesn't work for you, you change it, all right? You change the meditation. You don't just keep on trying. You change the exercises if it doesn't work for you. You change the way you sleep if it doesn't work for you. You change your diet if it doesn't work for you, and your relaxation method. Now, same thing with wealth. Almost more importantly, because wealth will be your work, all right? Here it is. Number 2. So all of these are connected here. As you can see, these are the four essential areas in life: health, wealth, relations, spirituality. I have the numbers here. You can see the numbers here. And, this is number 1, this is number 2, this is number 3, and this is number 4. All right? But I'll explain each and every one, all right? Wealth. Wealth means work and business. Work and business, all right? Work and business. And so, work and business. You cannot, in my philosophy, it is essential that you have your own business. There is no other way you're going to own yourself. How are you going to be how is life going to be satisfactory? How are you going to find satisfaction if you're doing someone else's purpose, passion, goal, vision in life? How is that supposed to work? It doesn't work. You have to be your own king. You have to be your own king. All right? You have all these soldiers here, and you have to have people beneath you. You just have to accept that. You have to be a leader. Owning yourself means that you have to be a leader. All right? You are the top king here. King. And you have, whatever it is. Well, it used to be priests and stuff, but, your generals. It can be president as well, Soldiers here. Let's say, captains. Captains. Whatever it is, general. I'm most likely skipping here. As you can see, I didn't go to military. I didn't have to, because it wasn't obligatory like it used to be back in the day. But now I actually have way more discipline. I could actually join if I had to. And I have the, strength from my training, You're ready, you're resilient, you're ready for everything. I'm ready for war, for Christ's sake. I'm ready for war. If something happens, I am ready for war, all right? Literally ready for war. I'm literally ready for war. You never know what can happen in the world, all right? You have to be ready for everything. You have to be ready for everything, like a Spartan, like the Spartans. They were ready for everything. Lifelong, all right, life, especially life. Not just long, well, long and quality. We want quality as well, That's why satisfaction is here. We want quality life, not just any life. We don't want mediocre life. We want quality life. Quality, satisfaction. So you have to have all these, well, let's call them priests. We are mixing here. We're mixing kings and priests and generals and captains and soldiers. All right. Well, you could just change generals, but doesn't matter. You understand what I'm saying here. The important thing is that you are king. You have to be king. Owning yourself ultimately means that you have to be king. You're king, all right? Or queen if you're a woman. You gotta be a strong queen. And it sounds like a cliche, but it is true. Look at queens in history, all right? They were all, they had the characteristics of men. Now, I'm not gonna go into that stuff, but you gotta be strong, you gotta be resilient, you gotta, all that stuff. Almost physically, all right? Or at the very least, the closest to you have to be, super strong, and then you are strong as a king and queen, as a president and so forth. All right, the closest people to you have to be strong, but you have to be strong first. You have to work on your core first, and then you move outwards and find your people. You don't go opposite. You can't just go within yourself and expect people to just, come from nothing, from heaven. All the angels from heaven. All right. That's not how it works. It doesn't work like that. You can't wait for stuff. You create stuff. You can't wait for stuff. You create stuff. Being a creator is the ultimate owning yourself. All right. Creator. You create all this stuff. You create your whole country. This is your country. Whoopsie whoopsie. Country. You're creating your whole land here, country, your countrymen, your soldiers, your everyone, Also, you need other stuff, not just soldiers. You can't just have soldiers. You have all your people, all the peasants and, everything. You gotta be your king. You gotta be your own king. You gotta be the king of your own country. Now, this means, obviously, in business, today. The space is within business today. You win wars within business today, all right? Wars don't, they don't exist much any longer. Wars are within ourselves. Wars are within businesses. You take your enemies, your enemies' clients or prospects or customers. All right, that is what is happening there. All right, you have to just accept that. And there are enemies. They're not your friends. All right, don't be all this. Don't be. You can't show, weakness, so to speak. I mean, not just show. You shouldn't be weakness. Did the Spartans talk about the Persians or other Greeks in that sense? Like, my enemy, I love my enemy. There is no way the Spartans spoke like that. And you shouldn't either, all right? And the Spartans, they were truly smart. They only used language as much as they needed. They cut everything. They were laconic. That's why I love the Spartans, all right? I love the Spartans because it's a great metaphor for everything, because we don't want mediocrity. We want lifelong satisfaction. And lifelong satisfaction takes all this stuff, all this work. It takes all this work. So in wealth, like I said, in wealth, you have to have your own business. You have to have your own work, your own business, your own purpose work, all right? That's actually within spirituality as well. Deep purpose work, because your work will be super deep. You have a legacy you work on. You have an empire. Some people call it, you're creating your own empire. Well, this is your empire, your country, your land, that is what I'm saying here. That is the empire. That is it. You create your empire. You have your, you got to have the base and, the leaders and the leaders above the leaders, and it's just a, hierarchy. There's always a hierarchy. Nature has hierarchies. You don't have to just discuss, hierarchies. How do they work? You don't care about how hierarchies work. You leave that to me. You don't care about how this works because you leave that to me. You just apply what I'm saying, all right? What the hell was that? War. You just apply whatever I'm saying, all right? You apply what I'm saying, you just follow these principles, all right? Well, of course, there are questions like, how do I create my own business and all of that stuff. Now, obviously, it depends on what business we're talking about. That's why I'm talking about principles here. I can take an example, but, this works for everything. An example would be, all right, let's take photography. Owning yourself in photography means that you have to open your own studio. There it is. You have to open your own studio. In the beginning, you are the base. In the beginning, you are alone, you are the base. But then, as you get wealth in, you get, money in, you start building your team. So technically this base, now this is interesting here. I just thought of it. So this base of yours, you're doing everything basically, but then you delegate your time and you create your team, and it gets like this. So you're doing less and less stuff, and you have more and more stuff to think about spirituality and ideas, stuff like that. You have more, time for ideas than, all this, work. Now, obviously, you have to understand, diet and sleep and all that before you can get there. That's why I'm talking about first foundation, second foundation, third foundation, and fourth. Third and fourth foundation, second foundation is habits and getting your habits right and stuff like that. Your third and fourth foundation is information in, reading stuff and inspiration and how to think. Now, I will create a course about that, or I've actually already created it, but I have to finish recording it. All right, so basically what you're doing before you can create this hierarchy like this, you know, the base, it's starting to look like a cake, wedding cake. All right, but it goes, you know, it goes the other way technically. You are your own base in the beginning. Well, you're always your own base, but especially when we're talking about business now. So you're doing, you know, like Facebook, you do YouTube, you do everything, you know, clients, everything, you know, schedule, you know, everything. Perhaps even accounting. And so you're doing basically everything in the beginning, but then you lessen that work and you have more time. So other people become this. You are this, now you are this, so other people are this. Now you are this and other people are this and this. And now you're here. And now you're here and now other people are this and this and this and base. And now you're a king. Now you're a king. You have your priests and so forth. So in photography, you start with your studio, you do all the stuff yourself, get some money from wedding photography, mostly perhaps because I believe that is the most, you know, money driven thing here. And you're smart. When you're smart, you start investing in, I don't know, ads, you invest in an assistant or something. And so you relieve when you have money and you invest in your company in a smart manner. You don't just spend all your money, you invest back in your, you know, company, especially in the beginning. In the beginning, everything has to be about your company in the beginning. That is your passionate, purposeful work. Otherwise, why are you even starting photography? What's the point? But understanding that you want to do this within photography requires working on yourself, your first foundation and everything. All right? It requires that because otherwise you're going backwards. Most people go backwards. You have all those habits, but they're terrible. And then you wonder why you don't have lifelong satisfaction. You wonder why you don't have satisfaction. That's because you haven't understood yourself. You don't understand yourself. All right? This barely looks like a human being. You don't understand your core. You don't understand anything. You don't understand what you're putting in your mouth. You don't understand why you're not satisfied because you're reading garbage, you're watching garbage, you're watching all these TV shows and all the nonsense. You gotta cut all the nonsense. That is important. Minimalism, scaling back as I call it, is super important. That is part of the first foundation. It should technically be here, you know, changing your environment and cutting stuff out as well. But that is part of, you know, diet as well. So sleep and stuff like that. Because, you know, you go with the effective work, you go with the effective diet, effective meditation that works for you, effective stuff that works for you. So you create in photography, you just, you know, you have an assistant there and then you perhaps have a virtual assistant. So you have two now and, you know, so you slowly you create your empire. You slowly create your empire. And it's the same with every single business. I mean, there is no difference in anything in life. There is no difference in anything in life. Everything is the same. Don't complicate things. Nothing is complicated except the organism itself. But that is for science, all right? The organism itself is complicated, but psychology is not that complicated. Now, most people would say we're complicated. No, we're not complicated. Especially men, we're not complicated. Give us a sword and a shield and you understand your goal. We don't need much, all right? You only need your temple. You only need your temple, your body. So, it is important. Otherwise, you can never own yourself. You have to do this hierarchy or the other way. It will become this other way. But technically, everything is backwards, because you work from your core and then, you know, you become the king. Obviously we could do it this way as well. So you're jumping up like this. And now you're here. So all the work, so you have to have people beneath you. How else is a company supposed to work? All companies work like this. That is the basic structure, nothing else. Doesn't matter what we're talking about. All right, so that's what you do. And if you're smart, you invest. If you're dumb, you spend. All right, especially in the beginning. You can relax later and spend, but when you have a lot of money, it takes a lot of money to spend, you know, stuff. So, and it's not even important, that is not the important stuff. To be satisfied, it has to be work you enjoy. You have to enjoy creating this hierarchy. That's when satisfaction also coming in. I mean, owning yourself is one thing. That is super important. Otherwise, you're not, this is not your project, this is someone else. This is someone else's. This is someone else's, you know. This is a king here, and you are like the soldier, or you're like a captain, or a general, or something like that. You're somewhere here in the hierarchy, and you're doing his vision, the king's vision. You're doing his vision, you're not doing your vision. So that's why owning yourself is the most important. I mean, the meta principle behind all of this. But you gotta also love what you're doing. So it is those two principles mainly at work. And then obviously the meta principle, which is change. You know, you change, you go from here to here to here to here. You change. So you see, reality is multi-layered, it has many principles, but they're all connected. And that's how it works. All right, that is how my philosophy works. And this goes with everything, not just work and business. It goes with relations. You create your friends, you create your partner, basically. You find people you want to be with. Relationships and relations that are giving to you and that you want to give to them. From your core outwards. But you love yourself before you can love your partner. So a lot of people don't have satisfaction in that because they don't love themselves. You have to love yourself first. You gotta love your work as well, your task, but first yourself, before your task and work. This is advanced, all right? More advanced. I mean, it's simple as a concept, but it is much more advanced. Because this is the most simple, the diet and the exercise. But it's not that simple. That too is, you know, in some sense it is simple because, you know, life is simple in some sense. This is what it is in life, but to be living, but the deepness comes within the layers within all these, like I said before in the beginning of the lecture. So that's when the deepness of life comes in. But you first you have to, you know, understand the simplicity of life. All right. So in relationships, you create your friends. You drop the friends that don't elevate you. You gotta have friends that elevate you. You gotta have a partner that elevates you. If your family also, you know, I'm not gonna tell you to drop your family, but you can have toxic, so to speak, people in your family as well. So, and I have no problem cutting or at least minimizing my time with certain, you know, people in your life. And you want to have elevation, all right? Life is too short for nonsense. We got to cut out all the nonsense, and, you know, during your free time, at the end of your days and your end of the day and your let's say weekends and stuff, whatever your schedule is, everyone has their own schedule, and you socialize and so forth. But if you want to be a high achiever, you got to put almost everything into your work, and obviously your partner, but there has to be some sacrifice there. You can't be with your partner all the time. And your partner also perhaps want to do something in life. They have their work and business, and they're doing stuff, interesting stuff. So there is so much deepness in life, so many layers in work as well. I mean, this is just a hierarchy. Imagine the whole process of your business and all the areas in business. Let's say search engine optimization. I like that stuff, but you got to find the way you like doing search engine optimization, and that's just one part of business, marketing, and stuff like that. You have got to have a partner that actually understands you, understands your core, and your partner ultimately also have to work on herself or himself. They also have to work on their foundation. They also have to do similar stuff, because otherwise you will never be satisfied. So technically there is some owning yourself in this. Well, of course it is. So yeah, to be satisfied with your partner, this partner also has to work on himself or herself. Otherwise you won't be satisfied. Never. Perhaps only temporarily, like let's say 1 year, but we're talking about lifelong quality life here. All right, we're not talking about just 1 year. We're talking about life. Life. All right? It is required. All of this is required. All right? There is no shortcut here. This is required. There is no shortcut. All right. So that's relations, work. What else? Spirituality. Yeah. Spirituality is the deep, intense experience, what I call Newman. All right, Newman. I'll put it here as well. Newman. That's what I call Newman. Newman is deep experience. You don't want life to be mediocre. That's why spirituality is super important for satisfaction, again. And you got to own yourself within this as well, of course. But obviously it includes fasting, diet. You develop your instincts within this, and then you develop some meditations with visualizations, and in the third and fourth foundation you have inspiration and ideas. You read stuff that is important and fills your soul, so to speak, and that can constantly generate ideas. And there are methods to just you gotta write down every idea you have, and just that is a habit you have to just start. I've done that for years, many years. So, and it will just accumulate. That is just a simple explanation. You will have more deeper purpose in your work with your business. So these are, of course, deeply connected. Now, like I said, everything is connected here. Everything is deeply connected. All of them are deeply connected with each other. And this is deeper experience. Spirituality is not just, regular experience in life. It is something deeper. You feel connected to the universe, to everyone around you, your friends, partner, your work, your hierarchy, your soldiers. You're connected to everyone and everything. Basically the whole universe. And not only is it enjoyable, I mean, that is truly satisfaction. Most people want to have something deeper. Most people, look for something deeper, and that is what it takes. But it takes, all this stuff first. Well, in some sense, you will gradually feel more spiritual, more and more spiritual when you do all this stuff. Because in life, obviously, it's not like I'm just working on, well, for most people anyway, I'm just working with my diet. Most people, they already have some work, and Now they have to fix their first foundation. So most people go backwards in life. Most people don't go, from the first foundation and then, work with business. But if you're young, you can do this. You go from diet and sleep and all that stuff, your first foundation, and then you move that way. And I believe that will be a stronger person. So the young is the hope, always. Because the old forgets, thank goodness. And yeah, that's advancement. All right, so deeper, fasting, you gotta fast, you gotta meditate, inspiration, deep work, yes. All right, so yeah, this is a meta principle behind everything, owning yourself. You gotta own yourself, otherwise you're never going to be satisfied, especially if you're naturally a leader. If you're naturally a leader, there is no way you can be satisfied in life if you have a boss. No way. There is no discussion there. You're born to be a leader. So you're going against your own nature. Don't go against your own nature. My philosophy is all about that. Do not go against your own human nature. You have to embrace everything, even the struggle, even the bad. You don't suppress anything. That's when the bad stuff, starts. Obtrusive thoughts, all of that depression or whatever it is, that's when that starts. So you can't just suppress stuff, or even sexual suppression like Freud talked about and stuff like that. Now, obviously, Freud, there are some issues there, but that's not important here. That is theory. This is the practical. Obviously, this is theory as well, but I gotta show you in some way how, this stuff works. So what does owning yourself mean? That is what it means, all right? That is what it means. Don't go against your own nature, cut stuff out. Aesthetic humanism. I've lately called everything aesthetic humanism. I'm just gonna remove satisfaction. I'm gonna remove a little bit here. Aesthetic humanism. Or aesthetic human. I mean, of course. We don't have to do an ism of it. But aesthetic humanism, you're aesthetic, but you're not a monk. You're aesthetic because you keep your humanity. You keep your humanism. But you cut stuff out. All right? You're like a philosopher here. You cut stuff out. You're a philosopher king, perhaps. Like Plato, he talked about philosopher king. Technically, Marcus Aurelius was a philosopher king. So we already had philosopher kings. But perhaps we can have more philosopher kings today. But you have got to have your business, otherwise it doesn't work. You got to have your own, Epicurean garden. All right? So, but that's what I'm trying to develop here. I'm trying to develop, my golden seeds are these leaders. They're just gonna, I'm the catalyst of leaders. I'm the creator of leaders. I'm sculpting you, all right? I'm like Auguste Rodin. I'm sculpting you, not just a mediocre thinker. I'm creating a golden thinker, a golden leader. So aesthetic humanism, we keep the human in humans, all right? We don't suppress anything. We accept, we're yes-sayers to life, as Nietzsche says. We accept the human nature, not just accept, but we embrace it. We embrace human nature. Embrace human nature, our own nature. We can't deny that we're humans. We don't deny evolution. We don't deny anything. All right? We're not stupid. We're not stupid here. All right, ascetic humanism. That is basically it. You cut stuff out that you don't need. You're like an animal here. You go to your, this is how you get to your instincts. How do you get to your instincts and get deeper and, yeah, of course, getting to spirituality. That is how you do it, you know? You like your core and your closest shell with all the stuff you're working on. Like the diet, you know, this was diet and meditation. I explained that yesterday, I believe. Or no, 2 days ago. The core video, not the higher desire video, lecture. So yeah, you like your, you know, your closest, even this, you know, all your closest stuff, closest diet, closest friends, closest partner, closest work. Well, you only have that work. You don't have any other work. So that is your core and your closest shell there. You're not like most people that have all this garbage. That's why we're ascetic. Ascetic. All right, asceticism. But we're not monks. That's why we have humanism. We keep our humanity. We don't believe that we can just fly away, ascend, and, you know, we're done with life. No, that is just fantasy. We're in reality. We love reality. All right, we're yes-sayers to life. Being yes-sayers to life implies reality. We don't deny reality. That is what you have to do. All right, don't aim for these impossible things. Like the higher desire, it will become more and more realistic to you as you see results, like I said, explained earlier and yesterday. All right, so it's not going to be some ideal vision that doesn't work. It will work because you're just, you know, you keep on changing and improving your vision as well. It's not like your vision is set in stone. It's not like you're gonna get hurt if you change something. Your ego is gonna get hurt. No, don't worry about that. Too many people just worry about, you know, they worry about it has to be perfect. No, perfection is overrated. Perfection actually is not just overrated. Perfection doesn't exist. If you were perfect, you would have already have all these foundations, and you wouldn't have had to do anything in life, and then life would be meaningless. You see, life has meaning. Life has meaning. This is the meaning of life. This is the meaning of life. This is the meaning of life. I already told you. I already gave you the steps. I just said it. All right, and just rewatch it, and you will have the meaning of life over and over and over again. The meaning of life is not complicated. That is what meaning can only mean, because in experience, we're in experience, within experience, we're in experience, we're alive. So we are experience, and only there can the value exist, value in everything, and value in, you know, existence. And so that's the theory behind everything. So I have a lot of theory behind all of this lies other stuff that I will explain some other day, but I just explained it like shortly there. Like I said, I will summarize my philosophy over and over again, because, you know, that is how I work. That is how my brain works as well. So you're seeing a philosopher in action here, developing his philosophy. And he loves it. He loves his life. He loves his golden seeds that he's sculpting. All right? So yeah, ascetic humanism, embrace your nature, own yourself, start your own stuff, own yourself always, your own creations, you're your own leader, and cut out all opinions. And you cut out all opinions by keep on working on yourself. Keep on working on yourself and your task, your work. And you keep on working on yourself. You do those things, you own yourself because you create your own business. No one else can tell you what to do. You're your own leader, you're your own vision, you're your own king, you have your own country and your own countrymen. That is it. If you like my stuff, continue watching my stuff, share it, Like, comment down below if you have any questions about ascetic humanism, embracing yourself, owning yourself, you know, this king stuff, hierarchy, or about spirituality, or something more about work and stuff like that, or relations, or wealth, or health. Comment down below and I will answer your questions. And if you have problems, you can consult me. The email is down below, and you can check my Facebook page. You can add me on Facebook if you want to. You can join the Facebook group, the Garden of Golden Seeds, which is you. And you can check my Quora as well. I post there every now and then. I can't post too much there. It's just takes too much from me. All right. I want to put it here instead, because this is much more important than just, you know, deeply explaining nutrition, which is deep within this. But the whole point is to have a guide. This is a philosopher's guide to a better life. That is why it's called like that. I was always thinking of, you know, I want to create a guide for a better life. That is the whole purpose behind all of this. This is a guide to clear up life, and so that you can just focus and just be great, become great at it. All right, that is the whole point. That is the whole purpose. And also, of course, ignite a will to change within you. Like I say, the inner fire within you. We all have this. It's just that most people you know, basically eliminate themselves within themselves. You know, they don't ignite the fire. They don't give fuel to their fire within themselves. You got to do that, and you fuel yourself by working on yourself, by reading things that will fuel your inner self. All right, so we'll see what we will talk about tomorrow. Perhaps going from old self to new self a bit deeper, or something else, or perhaps joy in the process. Perhaps the principle of joy in the process, or we'll see, or principle of change, but we'll see. And there is so much to talk about. I can go on and on and on. I could go on all day long, but I have to cut it somewhere. So, like I always say, keep on working on yourself, keep on focusing only on yourself, especially if you're young in the beginning. And everything will be great, everything will be fine. And own yourself, don't let others control you, and you will be satisfied once you own yourself. And I will see you tomorrow.